Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk a little bit about animal identification. And like any good teacher, I'm stealing this lesson from another teacher, and it just so happens to be that she's in my family. This is coming from my younger cousin, Abby, who's also an ag teacher down in the state of Oregon. So thank you, Abby. And if you like this, she's awesome. She's creative. She's got her own teacher Instagram page. You can follow her. It's at Abby Teaches Ag. I'll post a link down in the post below. So we're talking about this today because it's important to understand who we are referring to. If I am working on a farm or I own the farm and I have animals, I'm probably going to have several hundred, and I need to understand and have an identification system for those animals in case they get sick, if I am ready to sell one before the other to market, if I'm going to transfer the ownership to somebody else. There has to be a system in place to identify those animals and track back if there's any issues that come up. So what we're mostly familiar with in identification is probably these plastic ear tags. You've probably seen pictures, or you've been on a farm that has had animals with these in. And we're going to kind of upscale it today and be talking more about a system in place for larger commercial-based farms. So farms that are producing in large numbers, mostly for our meat market for human consumption. And we're going to talk about two types of animals today. We're going to talk about cattle, so beef, and then pigs, because there's a huge difference between those two. And then later on in the lesson today, you're going to be able to kind of have some interaction and some fun with this activity. So first up, let's talk about cattle. Cattle are large animals, and we're going to use a plastic ear tag through one ear, usually the animal's left. And that ear tag is usually going to last a lifetime. Cattle are large animals. They do some self-grooming, but they're not interacting with each other physically that often, especially in the head region. So most of these ear tags are going to last a lifetime without damage or need of replacement. On that ear tag is going to be a lot of information, but most important, we're going to assign a unique number that is only for that one particular animal, so we can use it to identify it throughout its lifetime. In addition to its unique information, we are also going to include our farm's unique information. So that way, as we sell it from our farm to another or to the market, if there was ever any food safety or health issues, it could be tracked back to us to deal with the issue. And then lastly, these ear tags are going to have this information printed very largely and easy to read. Cattle are large animals. Not all of them are going to be halter broke or trained and very approachable by humans. So we need it to be easily visible to us from a distance. So let's take a closer look at the information actually posted and printed on our ear tags. This is an example. Not every ear tag is the same or organized in the same way, but this is the ideal information that would be on a tag if I was a large commercial operation. If that's the case, I'm probably going to have several groups of animals at one time on property, and they're going to be grouped primarily by age, or at least the weight at the time that they come onto my property. So that way, hopefully a whole group is ready to go to the market at the same time. We're raising them similarly at a growth rate. So we're going to need some information about that group and then some information about the actual individual animal itself. All of that is similar to a teacher trying to track students in a class. I need to know my class name, a class period, what room we're going to be teaching in. But then once you're actually in that room during that time period, who are the kids in the class? Do you have table groups, a seating arrangement? In science class, do you have a lab group? And then at that group, who are the individuals making up that group? Could you group each other by age or student class group, like senior, freshman, etc.? So an organization system at the end of the day is an organization system. It doesn't matter if we're grouping students, if we're grouping the groceries in our cart, if we're grouping animals. I just need a tracking system so that I can understand what I am talking about, who they all are, and be able to identify them as a group, but also individually for different reasons. Similarly, but different, pigs also need an identification system. But pigs are a totally different animal. They are shorter, smaller, and they're overall more social than cattle with each other. They will interact with each other a lot more. They will play fight. They could real fight if they were aggressive. And so we have seen plastic ear tags being used way back in the day, but those basically became a toy and or an antagonizer to other animals. It's just something there for them to grab onto and try to rip out. And so we would see lots of animals with ripped ear tags, bleeding occurring. And then at the end of the day, beyond that, we've lost our identification. Now we have nothing to know who this pig is. So ear tags in pigs are not a permanent solution, and they pose a health risk. So we needed an alternative organization system for the pig, and I don't even know when it got developed or who developed it. I'll have to look back at my notes. Maybe that will be today's challenge for you all. But we developed an ear notching system, and it's basically like piercing your ears. We're going through a cartilage situation. We're not really going through muscle tissue. But instead of piercing the ear and actually putting an item in, we're making notches in specific locations and removing that cartilage to leave a permanent notch. And these notches are not that big, but based on the location on the ear that these notches are, they indicate a number. And so we've got a numbering system that I'll show you on the next slide. But basically, we're doing that to identify the animal, but do it in a way that will be permanent because pigs just aren't going to be able to handle that plastic ear tag. So this ear notching system is universal when it's being used. In the pig's right ear, we have its litter number, its group number. And in the pig's left ear, we have its individual number. So looking at a pig, I can tell which mom it came from and then its own individual number, who that pig is. We split the ear into quadrants. We split it into fourths. And we have this numbering system so that we have basically, if you do the math, unlimited combinations based on pigs having litters of 1 to, let's say, I think the max was 23. So no matter what, no matter how many pigs I have on my farm, these numbers, I can never have a duplicate. So let me talk you through this system, and then I'm going to give you some time for practice. So if you were to do ear notching for these pigs, you want to get the right number in the fewest amount of notches. So starting with the litter number, you've got a 1, a 3, a 9, a 27, and then if you have a lot of litters, we've given an 81 on the actual tip of the ear. And then for its individual number, we have a 1, a 3, and a 9. You can make as many notches as you need to in a specific quadrant, but remember the goal is to make the fewest notches possible to get to that number. So I've got 2 example pigs here. I would like you to take a moment and try to figure out what their numbers are. All right, so let's work through this guy together. We are going to start over here with the litter number. So I'm going to split mine into the full quadrant just so that we understand. And I will label them on this first one to help us out. So we have the 1, the 3, the 9, and the 27 quadrant. So all I'm going to do is count the notches, label them, and then add them up together. So I have a 1, I have a 3, and I have another 3. So I add them together, I have 6 and then 7. So this pig's litter number is 7. Then I'll do the same on the other side. I'm going to finish the quadrant and label it for us. We have a 1, the 3, and the 9. And so we're going to do the same thing, label and then count up. We have 1 and a 3 together. We add them and it's a 4. So this pig's litter number is 7 and individual number is 4. This is pig 7-4. Let's try the next one. Let's see if you can get it. Split into the quadrant. 1, 3, 9, 27, and split into the quadrant. 1, 3, 9. Can you do it? Let's do it together. This is a 1, a 9, and another 9. Together we have 18 and 19. This is litter number 19. Individual, pretty dang easy, only 1 notch in the 9. So individual pig, 9. This is 19-9. All right, so now it's your turn. For today's challenge, I would love you to follow the instructions on the next slide to create your own ear tag and ear notching for a pig and a cow. And you can do this just written on paper. If you really want to have some fun, you could do a cutout of construction paper and actually cut out the ears. And then Abby also recommended those of you that have tortillas at home, tortillas really work awesome with a pizza cutter. So this would be a great way to involve your younger siblings if you'd like. So create a pig following the instructions and a cow ear tag following those instructions. And I would love to see pictures or a post down in the comments below. As always, a giveaway for the top 3, the first 3 people to participate. I will send some stuff your way. And then in other news down below in our Google Classroom post, I'm going to post some links for virtual field trips to a pig and a cow farm. So you can see a little bit more information about the animals in general, how they're raised, how the farm operates. And coming soon, I'm also working really hard on tech to do a video or chat, live chat with you all. I'm missing you. I'm missing that interaction. So somehow, some way, I'm hoping for Monday to have a live chat session with you. So stay tuned. Info for that will be on Google Classroom once I figure it out. All right, stay safe out there. Hope you guys are having a great time and have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys on Monday.